Blaze, are your products considered organic products?
They are. We make a wide variety of different organic and sustainable fertilizers, and several of them are allowed for organic use for growing organic crops.
Why is that important?
Well, it's important for a variety of reasons. Consumers and home gardeners want to know what inputs are being used in their gardens and on their vegetables, especially if it's food crops. It's important to know that there are no chemicals or synthetic ingredients in there or pesticides used. And it's also important for sustainability reasons to ensure healthy soils and avoid using non-renewable resources.
I've seen the initials OMRI when it comes to organic. What are those and what does that mean?
So OMRI stands for the Organic Material Review Institute. It's a nonprofit organization that reviews and approves products for use in organic production. So under the National Organic Program, the USDA will certify organic crops as organics, but inputs are not certified the same way that food crops would be. So there's a third party that will review inputs to determine if they are allowed under the National Organic Program. So we have several products that are approved by OMRI and that are on the OMRI list. And so for those products, we will undergo an annual review program where we provide OMRI with documentation on the ingredients that are used and the manufacturing process so that they can verify that no synthetic or chemical ingredients are used in the product or the process and that it complies with the National Organic Program standards.
When you add the product to the soil, do you have to worry about trying to feed the microbes so that they can break down the sustained product?
Well, having a vibrant soil microbiome is very important, especially for organic growing. The soil microorganisms will break materials down and release nutrients and make them available to the plant. And so that's a very important component of all organic growing, including using Sustain. So Sustain is considered a slow release fertilizer, and that means that the nutrients will remain in the soil until microorganisms break that material down and activate the nutrients and release them so that they're available to the plant. And that process will take anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks depending on soil and weather conditions. It helps match the nutrient availability with the demand by the plant. So when it's cold out and the plant's not growing, there's very little nutrient release happening in the soil because the soil microorganisms are dormant or inactive. And then when the soil starts to warm up and the plant starts to grow and demand more nutrients, that's also when the soil microorganisms will activate and start breaking down the nutrients and making them plant available. The Sustain compost, because of the composting process, is very rich in beneficial microorganisms. We grow very large populations of beneficial microbes during composting, and then we dehydrate that compost at a low temperature so that we preserve the microorganisms so that they're available in the soil when it's applied.
How long does the fertilizer tend to last in the soil?
So the nutrients will release over a 6 to 12 week time period, and that's going to be dependent on soil temperatures and moisture availability. So in a very dry soil, it will last longer, maybe 10 to 12 weeks. Or in cool soils or in the early spring, it will last for a longer period of time. And then in the middle of the summer, when the soil temperatures are high and if there's enough moisture present, it'll release quicker and then it'll be closer to 6 to 8 weeks. So we say 6 to 12 weeks, but it's going to depend on your climate and soil temperatures.
Do you have a lab where you can verify what the active ingredients are in your fertilizers?
We do, yep. So we operate an in-house lab where we test each production run to confirm the guaranteed analysis. So we talked about NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. So each of our products will guarantee a certain level of those nutrients on the bag. And so after we make the product, we test each batch to make sure that the nutrient concentration in the fertilizer meets or exceeds the guarantee on the bag. And then we also send samples out from each run to a third-party lab to verify our testing as well.
Who buys your products?
We sell our product to a very wide range, diverse population of people throughout the world. So we'll sell it to anywhere from home gardeners to large-scale organic farms. We also sell it to the turf and ornamental market, so landscapers, lawn care operators, golf courses, nurseries and greenhouses for ornamental plants. And then we also service the erosion control and revegetation market. And that is areas where they're trying to regrow grass typically to stabilize soil or reclaim damaged or depleted soils, and they'll use Sustain to establish new plants.
Do you have a lot of repeat customers?
We do, yep. So once you use Sustain, you'll oftentimes be a Sustain user for life. We're a performance and research-based company, so the Sustain fertilizers work exceptionally well agronomically. And so once either professional growers or home gardeners have used Sustain, they oftentimes will see the results very quickly and will continue to use the product.
Do you sell your product all over the United States or into other countries too?
We do. We sell it worldwide. We ship it to about 60 different countries. About 50% of our business is in the United States. We ship quite a bit into Canada, as well as to Europe and the Middle East and to Asia. And Sustain is the only manure-based organic fertilizer company that has a permit to ship to the EU and to ship to China.
Well, this has been so interesting. Thanks so much to you and to Craig for letting us come and learn all about your fertilizer products.
Sure, you're most welcome. We're very glad to have you, and we love to share our story and our products.